In the quiet Nigerian town of Nsukka, there lived a woman named Mama Adayez. But her fame didn't come from her husband's wealth or her family's status. It came from her timeless beauty. Though she was nearly 60, she possessed the radiant glow of a woman in her 30s. Her skin was flawless, her hair a thick, rich black, and she walked with a grace that suggested she held a secret the world could never touch. Whispers followed her like a shadow. "Ah, Mama Adayez is using something," the market women would murmur as she passed. "How can a grandmother look younger than her own daughters?" Her husband, Chief Okorie, would simply laugh, his chest swelling with pride. "My wife is blessed," he'd declare. "Beauty runs in her blood." But many weren't convinced. Her children adored her, especially her eldest daughter, Adas, who was her spitting image. They looked more like sisters than mother and daughter, a sight that often left strangers staring in disbelief. But then, one year, a shadow fell over their perfect lives. It began with her second son, Keen. He came home from Lagos complaining of terrible headaches. Within a month, he was gone, passing away suddenly in his sleep. The doctor cited high blood pressure, but Mama Adayez wouldn't accept it. "My son was strong like a lion," she cried, her heart shattering. Before the family could even catch their breath from the shock, tragedy struck again. Her third daughter, Ifunanya, fell ill with a sudden, raging fever that no medicine could quell. Within weeks, she too was lost. The village was heavy with mourning. 2 children, gone in a single year. It was an unbearable weight. At the funeral, old Mama Chinyere, the village's most notorious gossip, whispered just loud enough for others to hear, "Hey, maybe the gods are asking for something she refused to give." Heads nodded in quiet agreement. "You know that woman never grows old. It's not natural." A seed of fear was planted in Chief Okorie's heart. "My wife," he suggested one evening, "maybe we should go see the pastor." But Mama Adayez just offered a faint, weary smile. "My dear, don't let people's fear enter your mind. These things happen. We will pray." But the strange occurrences didn't stop. Neighbors swore they saw a bright, ethereal light pulsing from her backyard at midnight. Her garden bloomed with impossible life, its flowers vibrant and alive even during the harshest Harmattan winds when everything else withered. And sometimes when she went to the stream, her reflection in the water seemed different, younger, almost disturbingly so. Then, the final blow. Her last son, Chijioke, returned from university, his face pale and gaunt. "Mama," he said, his voice trembling, "every night I see Adayez and Keen in my dreams. They call my name." A cold dread seized her. "Don't say that again," she snapped, her voice sharper than she intended. "I'm serious," he insisted. "They stand at the end of my bed smiling, but their eyes are completely empty." That night, she fled to her room and locked the door. On her dressing table was an old wooden box, a secret she had guarded for decades. With trembling hands, she opened it. Inside lay a collection of small clay beads, some dried, brittle herbs, and a small mirror with a faint crack running through its center. She stared into it, her body shaking uncontrollably. Her reflection smiled back at her a moment before her own lips could move. The next morning, her husband found her sitting outside, silent, her eyes swollen and red. In a voice barely above a whisper, she said, "I think I know what is happening." He frowned, confused. "What do you mean?" Tears streamed down her face as she finally confessed her long-buried secret. "When I was young, before I met you, I went to a woman, an herbalist. I was so afraid of losing my beauty. She gave me something, an ointment. She told me that as long as I rubbed it on my skin every new moon, I would never age. She warned me never to stop and never to tell anyone." Her husband stared at her, his face a mask of horror and disbelief. "You did what?" "I didn't think it mattered," she sobbed. "I only wanted to stay beautiful for you. But last night, the herbalist appeared to me in a dream. She said the debt is due." "Debt?" he asked, his voice shaking. "She said," Mama Adayez whispered, "that for every year I live without aging, someone from my own bloodline will take my years instead." Chief Okorie collapsed into his chair, the weight of her words crushing him. This is madness. But their nightmare was far from over. The very next day, Chijioke collapsed while playing football with his friends. The doctor's diagnosis was swift and brutal: heart failure. By then, the dark rumors had engulfed Nsuka. People stopped greeting her. They would cross to the other side of the road to avoid her path. Even her own husband couldn't bear to look her in the eye. The beautiful face he had once adored was now a symbol of their immense loss. One night, unable to bear the suffocating guilt and loneliness, she took the cracked mirror and walked to the stream where her dark pact had begun. The full moon cast a silver haunting light upon the water. She whispered into the wind, her voice breaking, "Take it back. Take everything. I just want peace." The wind howled in response. Her reflection on the water's surface shimmered violently, then began to change. Her skin wrinkled and sagged, her lustrous hair bleached to a stark gray, and her eyes sank deep into their sockets. For the first time in 40 years, the face of a 60-year-old woman stared back at her. Her true age had finally claimed her. The next morning, a farmer found her body by the stream. Her face was peaceful, her hair as white as snow. She was gone. As the villagers came to carry her away, they noticed something chilling. Every single flower in her once perfect garden had withered and died overnight. But the story doesn't end there. A few weeks later, her granddaughter, a little girl of 6, began talking about her dreams. "Grandma comes to comb my hair every night," she told her mother innocently. "She says I'll be as beautiful as her when I grow up." The family prayed, terrified, but the whispers started anew in Asuka. They say some gifts, or perhaps some curses, never truly die. They just find new owners. And to this day, whenever a young woman in the village seems just a little too flawless, a little too perfect, the elders will shake their heads and offer a solemn warning. Be careful. Beauty that never fades always has a price. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.